Hello, friends. It's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums. Today, with a thank you for helping me reach 300 subscribers for my birthday. So, I really appreciate it. It's just so lovely to see this grow, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying the different things that I post. I'm trying to kind of figure out what people want to see, but then also kind of remain true to like what speaks to me, which is education and being able to share different messages in a different format as well. So today I just wanted to kind of pull a couple of cards just to see what to expect for this week and to kind of see where this energy is going as we move from Taurus season into Gemini season. So let's pull some cards. Let's see what's up. And again, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me on this ride as I try to figure out how it all works, because I am not the most technologically savvy person. So let's get into it. All right. Well, I'm going to pull a couple of cards. Let's see. We have the Tower and the Sovereignty of Fire, the Lovers, the Nine of Earth, and then the Star. How funny. Already how funny it is. All right, I'm going to pull one of these. We're going to get this one. So we have Pure, Honor Your Temple, which is funny. That's one of the things that I was like, I really want to do something with that today. Then we have You Are Worthy. And we have Growth. Oh my gosh. I feel like I am pulling a lot of the cards that I just pulled the other day for a client. So that's funny. Let's see. And we'll pull a couple of these cards out here. All right, we have Fire. More Fire. And we have Creative Expression. And then we have Bear, Rest. That's funny. And then we have 1111 and Let Go of the Drama. Okay, let's try to get these to where you guys can see everything, because I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to see all of the cards that I pulled. So I'm going to just like try my best to get these all in frame. And I'm still trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. I feel like I'm going to put those. Actually, no. I want to do like this. Nope, not this one. Just kidding. Right here, these two guys feel like they go together. And then I feel like these are good. Okay, hopefully I'm going to check. All right, I think everything is good. Maybe I may adjust a little bit just so it looks straight-ish. Sorry if you can hear my neighbor's dog. Literally, they just leave their dog out all the time. It is what it is. Anyways. So for this week, I think it's interesting. We're going to start with the Tower. Now, this is one of these cards that I feel like can be very daunting to some people, but I think that the energy here is very much about letting go of the things that no longer serve us. And it is very much going to be like a very physical kind of reaction for a lot of us to want to dig our heels in, to kind of stay where we're at, to kind of remain where we've been, to keep doing the things that we've been doing. And I think with the Tower, it's very much the breakdowns that allow us to, I just want to make sure this is on, sorry. I feel like the Tower is very much the breakdowns that allow us to open ourselves up to the breakthroughs. It is very much about surrendering the sense of control that we may have over certain aspects of our lives or how we think things are going to turn out, and also being very aware that we really don't control a lot. And so we just have to be very open and receptive to the things that are trying to shift, the things that are trying to change. And I think that because it is the Tower, it's like what I'm kind of getting right now is very much like this Uranus and Taurus kind of energy that has just been, I feel like it's been plaguing me since like 2018. So I'm very much feeling this kind of energy of like a lot of my foundations, my structures, the things that were quote unquote normal to me have just been kind of like, I just feel like the rug is constantly being pulled out from under me. And I feel like the biggest thing with the Tower is to try not to, like, again, dig your heels in, trying to make it more challenging, trying to fight against what is trying to happen for you. And I think that's the biggest thing with the Tower, is that maybe something unexpected is going to, show up, or maybe there's been a lot of shifts and changes that have been kind of happening around you that feel uncomfortable while you are in the middle of releasing that energy and trying to grow past that energy. Now, next to that, we have the Sovereignty of Fire, which is essentially the King of Wands. And I think of this card as very much like tuning into the creative sense of who we are, being much more stable, wanting to kind of get out into the world, being much more like driven to kind of go after the things that we have been wanting for ourselves. There's a lot of potential that comes with the energy of this card. And I feel like this is very much this energy that's saying, hey, whatever's kind of fallen apart or not come together, this is your opportunity to kind of chase after what it is that you really want, and taking an opportunity to kind of step into what it is that you really desire for yourself. And maybe this is about stabilizing and reconnecting to kind of like that divine masculine power within yourself, really recognizing that you are the one that gets to choose what your life looks like from this point forward. I feel like wands are very much about our passion, our drive, our, sense of self in a lot of ways. And they can be very much this energy of like momentum and travel. So this may be an opportunity for us to kind of step outside of the norm and maybe do something a little bit unexpected, in the sense of doing something that maybe feels a little bit uncomfortable for us, but then recognizing that by challenging ourselves to do something different, we can really change not just ourselves, but then also the potential outcomes that may be surrounding us at this current time. Now, next to that, we have the Lovers. Now, the Lovers to me is very much a card about aligning yourself with things that you love, connecting in the sense of really recognizing and building and choosing to build something that feels much more in balance and harmony, that feels like you are bringing everything into a much better space for yourself, if that makes sense. I think that the Lovers has this kind of energy of really recognizing that we're constantly bringing what we need. And it's interesting because this is also the Gemini card. And as we're moving into Gemini season, I feel like it's very much about embracing that inner reflection and outer connection in a lot of ways. It's very much about looking at, what do we want, and are we creating a world around us that honors those things within ourselves. And so maybe this is a reminder to look at all of our interpersonal relationships with a little bit of a sense of recognizing what it is that we want, what it is that we need, really connecting to the heart of the matter, so to speak. And it's not just about love, and this isn't just about intimate, romantic relationships. This can be our platonic friendships, our co-workers, colleagues, things like that. It's very much about just connection and aligning ourselves with things that we actually love when it comes to our lives, what it is that we need, really connecting in so many different ways, especially when we feel like our foundation has been kind of rocked in some ways. Now, underneath it, we have the Nine of Earth. This to me is very much about recognizing that we're putting in the hard work. We've been doing what is necessary. We've been patient. We've been, finally feeling like, okay, I'm just going to like kind of sit back, enjoy the things that are trying to happen for me and around me. And I think with the Nine of Earth, it's very much this energy of sitting back and getting our rewards for our dedication, for our hard work, for us just like sticking it out and being consistent and really connecting in so many different ways. And when I think of this energy, I think it's very much about like working towards what it is that we're trying to harvest and what it is that we want in the future, as well as recognizing that by honoring where we're at right now and what we've accomplished so far, we set the stage and the tone for what it is that we're trying to kind of bring in for ourselves moving forward. So I think the biggest thing with this is that it's really saying recognize everything that you've gone through, recognize everything that you've learned. And in that, you can find your hope once more, because the Star comes after the Tower. So this is like everything's been broken, everything's, kind of happened. And maybe these are the lessons in between that allow us to kind of find our hope, our inspiration, our sense of self, and a recognition of everything that has been trying to transform around us. I almost want to look at this as like Pluto and Aquarius, you know, even though this is usually Uranus energy. And I think with the star, it's very much, again, there's so many major cards. So I think that this is going to be a potentially significant week in so many different ways, because it's asking us to reignite our sense of faith, our sense of hope, whatever is inspiring us, finding that light in the darkness, so to speak, especially if we've been feeling like things have not really been coming together the way that we thought they were going to. The star is definitely this sort of energy that says, okay, now it's time for us to rise up underneath all of the rubble of destruction and the things that haven't worked out. This is very much this energy of finding what speaks to us and connecting to that energy on a deeper level. So I think that these cards are kind of saying that this week is maybe going to feel very transformative. Maybe, you know, especially if we've been feeling like things have just been kind of running together. That's kind of how I have felt about this whole year. It's almost like been surprising that like we're already in the middle of May. And I don't know, it's like everything has felt very like Groundhog Day-ish, if that makes sense, even though every day has been different and things have been just not really coming together the way that I thought they were going to this year. It's just been very like, just like waking up and doing like the same things, even though I haven't. And it's just weird. And I feel like maybe this week will be like the first week where it's like the crack of the whip, where it's like, okay, now we feel like things are shifting. Now we feel like things are coming together. Now we're going to see a little bit of like the pieces falling into place and not feel so maybe defeated or disconnected or a little bit uncomfortable with being able to kind of show up in what we believe, and recognizing that it's okay for us to choose what it is that we want to surround ourselves with, and recognizing that we do deserve recognition for our hard work and efforts and the things that we've done. So hopefully that makes sense. And let's move on to the actual cards that I pulled from the oracle decks that I have here. So I thought the interesting one was rest. I've been getting like this sense of, it's been very dreary here. Usually there's a lot of sunshine in Colorado, and it's just been very dreary, very overcast, lots of rain and hail and thunderstorms and things like that. And I have like this inclination, because I am originally from Houston, so there would always be like rainstorms and things like that, where it's like, to me, I find it very peaceful, very refreshing to just kind of like sleep when there's rain. And I feel like it's very much this kind of like honoring our need for hibernation, so to speak, because bears, you know, they move through cycles, right? And I think rest is just here as a reminder to honor what it is that you need, taking that time out, not feeling like you have to push and push and push and constantly fill your schedule with things that you need or feel that you need to get done. And I know for a lot of us, we've just been feeling very tired, very disconnected and withdrawn. And we have this sense of like maybe guilt around those things. And I think that this is almost saying like, it's okay. So I think that's why we have Pure. I'm going to just cover that part in case, you know, there's an issue. I'm not trying to get in trouble here. So Pure is really about honoring your temple. And I think rest is a big part of us honoring our temples, but then also recognizing, what else do we need? Do we need to play? Do we need time to create? Do we need time to dance or eat better or drink, you know, more of the things that we find nutritious and delicious? Do we just need to make sure that we are, you know, spiritually taking care of ourselves, ensuring that our spaces are aligned with what we want energetically and things like that? And I think with honoring your temple, it's not so much about like the physical space around you. I think it's also about the inner space within yourself, and taking that time out to be like, you know, am I doing what I need to do to feel more protected? Am I taking time out to have that connection to my practices, whatever they may be, whether that is a religious practice, whether it's a spiritual practice, whether it's just a meditative practice, whatever it is that you feel works and connects you back to you. I think that's the big thing here. And by resting, by honoring your physical temple, that will also be something that is going to be very replenishing. When we are rested, when we feel like we have gotten enough sleep, when we feel like we're in much better balance, it makes it a lot easier for us to deal with all of the things that happen in our day-to-day lives. And I think with pure, it's more of just recognizing what is not beneficial for you at this time, whether that is the sort of foods that you've been eating, whether it's, the sort of environments that you're in. Recognizing that also taking time out to cleanse the mind is also extremely significant and important. If you've been kind of in this like spiral of, oh, everything is like crumbling, everything is like not working out the way that I wanted to, I think honoring your temple is very much about kind of taking that step back and really recognizing what is true about what's going on and what is your truth in the situation, and how to kind of connect to that a little bit better. Now, here we have growth. Again, I'm just going to cover it up in case there's an issue. So this is about surrendering to the process, simplifying your healing. This is about recognizing the layers. And I love the imagery here. We have the lotus, we have the butterfly, very much about transformation. And I love that this like swirl of energy is kind of coming from her third eye. So it's more of just recognizing that there's a lot of things that are trying to shift and grow. And as we move from spring into summer, which we will in like the next month, it's very much about recognizing like what seeds have we been planting, what things are we nourishing, what things are we potentially seeing a lot of change in, whether it's our own personal growth, whether it's physical growth in the sense of the things that like we're physically planting in our gardens and things like that, or whether it's just looking at the relationships around you, the connections, the things that you're investing yourself into, and noticing how much you've changed, really stepping fully into this transformation of yourself and like your dreams and what it is that you want, and recognizing that even if things haven't maybe been as easy or have gone the way that you had anticipated, it doesn't mean that it's not something that is still very inspiring and connected, and that you're not going to get the rewards for that effort and for the dedication that you've kind of put in. All right, moving on to You Are Worthy. So this is just an inner child oracle. It is just telling you that you're worth it all. You deserve it. You don't need to question yourself so much. I think the biggest thing here is that you just need to take some time out to kind of reflect. And I think with the Lovers card especially, where it's very much about aligning yourself with things that you love, connecting more to what your heart really needs, what it is that you desire, what it is that you prioritize. I think with You Are Worthy, it's just a reminder of that, of saying it's okay for me to set a boundary. It's okay for me to take time out to do what I need. It's okay for me to speak my truth. It's okay for me to have some creative expression, because I'm worthy of all of the things that I'm trying to do. And it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect for it to be good. It doesn't need to be hard for it to be worth it. It doesn't need to be, something that you feel like you're having to put so much of your effort and time into in order for you to get the greatest payout out of it. And that is something that I've had to constantly remind myself in like the last few months, is that I am worthy. And I do deserve the things that have been coming into my life, and that I do deserve to have that desire for more, or for things to continuously grow, or for things to feel a little bit more in alignment with me and what my heart needs. So I hope that that is a good little takeaway message for you, and to just kind of recognize I also need to hear these messages as I'm kind of going through and talking about these things. Now, interesting, we are moving into a more like air-centric season. We're moving from a lot of earth and maybe feeling a little bit heavy and steady and stable and maybe a little bit stubborn. Fire to me is very much this energy of maybe going after things, really finding our spark, really connecting a little bit more to like momentum and movement and a quickness, and really like finding the air, so to speak, that will feed us, because oxygen feeds fire. So I feel like right now is that maybe now we're starting to feel like, okay, I'm not so just impulsive. So I have what I need to feed me on the next like sort of phase of what is happening here. Now, I do think that maybe because of fire kind of showing up here, when the full moon in Sagittarius happens, I think that we need to be very cognizant of that energy. And I think that the full moon is actually on the 25th, if I'm not mistaken, around, so probably this weekend, this upcoming weekend. I think that is something that maybe we need to kind of pay attention to and be mindful of, is that maybe something is going to allow us to feel some movement, some momentum, some traction on some of our goals, some of the things that we've been manifesting. Because I almost like feel like a lot of us have been trying to focus like with the new moon, as far as like what we're stabilizing, what we're feeling, because it was like the first new moon after eclipse season, and so this will be like the first full moon after eclipse season. So we're kind of getting like this, like, okay, I see what I need. I'm getting a little bit more of this sense of like gripping and being able to actually take off and go. And I think that this is really about looking at the choices that we have, recognizing that we have a lot of power as well, in our situation, even if it doesn't always feel that way. So there may be some choices and decisions that we're having to kind of confront within ourselves. And I am only saying that because I also have the sovereignty of fire. And so I feel like it's very much kind of like tying in that energy of really recognizing our divinity, our inspiration, what again kind of is fueling our sense of hope and what it is that we need. And with that, we have creative expression, or create and express. And I think that this is just like what it sounds like. This is a time where maybe you're going to feel like your mind is finally like clicking, coming together. This may be a really good time to tackle some art projects, tackle some creative aspects in your life, maybe even allow yourself some creative freedom to just kind of express what it is that you want. Maybe you need to write, maybe you need to sing, maybe you need to dance, cook, whatever you find as a creative outlet for yourself. This may be a time where you need to start expressing from that space. And I feel like Gemini has this like very beautiful energy when it comes to like connecting to the higher mind and kind of bringing that down and sharing what we know, what we have, and what we need with others. And I think with create and express, I feel like it's a reminder that we need to kind of honor that creative process, and we need to kind of express it, even if it doesn't always make sense to others, or even if others are not always going to understand why we are kind of moving into that energy and talking so much or focusing on these things. So maybe it's an opportunity for us to kind of dive back into that. And I feel like with Pure and honoring our temple and recognizing that we're worthy, is that I think for a lot of people, they kind of drop their creative projects because they're like, oh, well, I don't have time, or that's not what I need to focus on right now, or I can't make money off of it, or whatever it may be. And so we put a lot of these creative projects or expressive projects on the back burner, because we're so pulled by the day-to-day functions in life that we feel that we should focus on instead. And so it can be a little bit challenging. And I think that this is why we have this fire card, and it's kind of saying like we need to kind of take that step back for ourselves. And that is a part of our growth, and part of our rest is having that space of honoring what our soul is trying to create and express. Now, finally, we have the 1111 card, which is all about awakening and letting go and synchronicities, and paying attention to the signs that are around you. I think that this is more of just maybe feeling like things are finally coming together, especially after a lot of turmoil, a lot of things that maybe haven't really been going the way that we anticipated. And I think with the Tower and the Lovers and then the Star, we have this energy of like, okay, some stuff needed to kind of be stripped away. So maybe we're feeling a little bit ungrounded, a little bit lost, a little bit confused as to like what path we're on. And so we're having to kind of choose what it is that we want, what it is that we need, aligning ourselves with things that we actually love, and really co-creating a life that we actually love, so that we can find that hope and inspiration again. And I think that this is also a reminder to reconnect with your spirit guides, to call on them, to ask them to kind of show up, to ask them to show you the signs that maybe are synchronous for you, and that allow you to feel like it's okay for you to let go, and to wake up in some ways, and to also pay attention to the signs that are kind of happening around you. And maybe that's why this create and express is such a big thing, because whenever we are in that like creative mode and that like very receptive, I'm just trying to see what's coming through, that's when things really start like cooking, so to speak. They really start to kind of shift. And I think that's why we're getting a lot of this kind of sense of like, let's grow, let's kind of move into this energy, let's open ourselves up. Now, finally, we have let go of the drama. I think that this may be like the sense of like drama, like old stories, old kind of perspectives that we've been hanging on to, things that maybe we feel have not really been working the way that we thought they were going to. And I think it's interesting because this is kind of like very Aquarian, like energy, like with her kind of like with a little pot, and the star is the rulership card of Aquarius, and then the tower is the rulership of Uranus, which is the planet that rules over Aquarius. So I feel like maybe there's a lot of this kind of having to deal with like maybe the mental blockages that we've been hanging on to, like whether it's ideologies and thoughts and maybe feeling very much like out of connection with humanity and society as a whole. Maybe we're just very much in this like, I don't like people, I don't really like what's going on, I'm like trying to stay out of it, I have enough problems. And I think with letting go of the drama is to maybe let go of those old stories and those old perspectives, or being a little bit more objective as far as like, what are we kind of watering in different areas of our lives? What is it that maybe needs to kind of be surrendered and released at this time so that we can really move into the things that actually truly speak to us? So I think with letting go of the drama, it is maybe an opportunity for us to really start moving forward, seeing some momentum, getting an opportunity to really rest and tell ourselves like how worthy we are and how pure things can actually truly be for us in different ways. So I think overall, this week is going to bring us an opportunity for us to reflect on the changes that have been trying to take place around us, where we actually maybe have a lot more choice than we think that we do, and really getting our sense of, okay, I see the traction that's happening here, and it's time for me to really be expressive and create, recognize the signs that I'm getting, that I'm not doing this whole thing alone, and really finding my sense of faith once more, and really recognizing that all of this growth really will take root whenever I am honoring all parts of myself and all that I need. So let go of any old stories or old thoughts that maybe are no longer beneficial for what's happening for you and where you're going. So I hope that this makes sense. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or any comments, let me know down below. As always, please take care, stay safe. And if you're looking for a personalized reading, you can find the links in the description box. So have a good one and bye.